Hello, hello, hello. It is your girl, Miss Kimmy. So, Daniel Kaluuya. Okay, this was a request. And just so y'all know, I'm looking at pictures of him and I'm also looking at his birth chart. So, first thing I'm getting here is he's someone who was sheltered as a kid. And it's not like I don't know, it seems like in a Christian type of way, like, oh, well, I don't want you watching that type of movie or listening to that type of music. And it's like he may be a little naive, but it's not because he's stupid or anything. It's because he just simply doesn't know. Like, I remember I dated a guy who pretty much same thing. He was also sheltered as a kid, very strict Christian parents. And there was like certain BET movies, you know, when we have these references like, I stole my car, Jody. And he was like, what do you mean? You know, like he's not going to get the reference because he wasn't allowed to watch that stuff. So same thing with Daniel. It's like he was sheltered from a lot of things that are considered popular culture. So he may not know a lot about those things, but there are things that he does know a lot about. And that might be human interactions. Like he's very good at studying people. And maybe it's because he's had to be, like, you know, again, when you're sheltered and everybody seems to know things that you don't know and you're kind of afraid of being embarrassed. Like, I don't want to say too much because if I say something, they're going to call me stupid or they're going to be like, oh, wow, you don't know that? How you don't know this? And how you don't know? Like, okay, I'm sorry that my parents want me to be a certain way and not, like, you know, it's like he spent a lot of time in his life maybe trying to fit in or wanting to fit in, but then got to a point where it's like, you know what? I don't fit in. I'm not like other people and I'm okay with that. Okay, like some people are like, I don't fit in with other people and I'm going to change myself and do these things and try to be like them. Or, you know, you also see a lot of, I don't know what his nationality is, but even the last name, and we can see that he's, you know, African. But a lot of them are bleaching their skin. They don't even like their skin tone because they get teased for that too. Or they see that whiteness is the standard of beauty. And he's like, I'm not doing that. You know, like this is someone who digs his heels in. I don't care how y'all treat me and all this other stuff. I'm me. Like, so it's like the people who were influenced by all the pop culture and stuff, they seem to have lower self-esteem. And he's like, well, maybe it's a good thing that my parents sheltered me because I'm not out here comparing myself to all these weird celebrities and stuff. So it's like his sense of self that is really his superpower because it's enviable. Is that a word? Enviable? It's definitely something that is could make people jealous when they see how himself he is. It also feels like he lets a lot of things roll off. And it goes back to that having an understanding of people like, oh, well, I know why you're acting like that. It's because you have problems from your childhood. You got problems in your childhood that caused you to be like this. And that's why you act like that. Or, oh, you cheated on me because your daddy wasn't around. Like it's like he could really rip somebody to shreds if he wanted to because he's so observant. He's very accurate with his observations and he might be able to call things about people that they don't quite understand about themselves. But it's like, no, I understand it about you. And you know what? This could be something that if he was the wrong type of person, he could really use this stuff against people. Like he could really be a manipulator if he really wanted to. But it's like he doesn't care enough to be. It's like, I'm not about to sit here and play with you and make you believe something that's not true because why? How does that benefit me? And maybe he's been the victim of that type of situation before, you know, like, you know, when you're a kid and okay, I'm seeing a vision of like some fake Jordans. And it's like when you're a kid and you have no idea that your Jordans are fake, but your parents, you know, bought you some fake Jordans. They were like, oh yeah, here's some Jordans. And it's because they were cheaper. They may not be able to afford the real ones. But then you go to school and you're proudly rocking those fake Jordans. And people are like, boy, if you don't get your So it's like he may have been a victim of that, where he was simply naive. Okay, he didn't know, and people roasted him to hell about certain things. Or even, if he lost his virginity like really, really late, because unfortunately, a lot of people are losing their virginity as teenagers. He may be someone who was a virgin until college, or, something like that. So it's like, when you don't have the skills and people are like, oh, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to do this and that. And it's like, how am I supposed to know these things? So it's like, he's been the victim of that. So he wouldn't want to do that to somebody else. So it's like, even though he has that power, he has the ability to see people clearly and see things about them that they don't see about themselves. He really could hurt somebody's feelings, but he chooses not to, because it's just like, what do I gain from that? So he's a really good person, a really good friend to have, especially if you need a reality check. Like, he is somebody who will check you, but it's only because you asked. And even then, he's going to try to wrap it up in a nice, pretty little bow. Like, okay, like instead of saying, hey, bro, your breath stinks, it's more likely going to be, hey, I got some gum. Do you want some? And just keep offering you gum. Hey, you want some gum? You want some gum? Like, and the person might be like, hey, why do you offer me gum every day? And that's when he'll be like, hey, look, honestly, there was one time when you spoke to me and the wind kind of hit my nose and I was like, ooh, like, and it was a little tart. Okay. It was a little tart. Like, he's not going to say, bro, your breath stinks. It's going to be like, it was a little tart, like he puts it so eloquently. And it's like, it's to the point where people can't be mad at him because, number one, he was honest. And number two, he's not saying it to hurt them. And he even tried methods of getting the point across without like hurting their feelings. He's just very good at it. He might be I don't know if he does poetry or something, but if he doesn't, he could be really good at writing poetry. Like, he's really good at putting things in. Okay, I'm also hearing putting things into perspective. Yeah, like offering a perspective that other people may not quite be thinking about. Like, that meme where the guy is pointing down, there's two men and they're both pointing down at a number on the floor. And one guy says, that's a 6. And the other guy says, no, it's a 9. It's like that, where he will see the same thing. Okay, we just watched the same movie, but here's the message I got from it, And he always comes with a different perspective. And if you are not open-minded, you might find that annoying. Okay, you might find that, oh, you always playing devil's advocate and I hate people who do. And it's like, you're missing the whole point. Because, yeah, maybe he is the devil's advocate when it comes to certain things. Like, okay, well, what if that person didn't mean it like that? And it's like, whose side are you on? But that's just how he processes life. Like, that's how he stays so cool, calm, and collected, is because he sees things from different perspectives. Like, this happened to me, right? I'm an Aquarius moon, and Daniel just seems to, I think his Mercury and Venus are in Aquarius, and his moon is in Libra, right? A lot of air energy. But I was at a restaurant and I ordered something, and I noticed that the girl actually charged me $1.50 extra for an item that I know for a fact, like that's not how much that costs. But I was like, you know what? If you got to do all that, that means you need the money more than I do. So I'm going to just let you have it. I'm not even going to complain. I'm not even about to sit here and say nothing, because you know what? Here's your little $1.50, honey. So it's like that, where it's hard to, like, okay, in that situation, anybody else would have been like, you trying to play me? You trying to, no. And it's like, girl, it's a freaking $1.50. But people will be like, oh, it's the principle. Well, he understands the principle and all that good stuff and still won't get mad, because it's like, well, look at it this way. If you needed to, change up the prices and tax me extra, then you must really need it. Maybe you have a baby at home and your baby daddy ain't really paying what he need to be paying, and you need the money. Look, take the $1.50. Okay, I was going to tip you anyway. Like, just go ahead. And some people might call him, you know, a pushover for that. But he's not a pushover. Like, this is someone who, he does have good boundaries, but it's going to take a while. You know, it's going to take a while for him to really get those boundaries in check. So I'm not sure how old he is. Hold on. I think it said that he was born in like 1989. But yeah, it's like the boundaries may have taken some time to develop. Because again, if he was naive as a kid, sheltered, and didn't really know anything. Oh gosh, this is also reminding me of, I know I have all these stories, but when I was in high school, there was this kid who moved from Liberia, and he didn't know what pizza was. Okay. And he was hanging out with the white boys, and oh brother, white boys, I'm not to be racist or anything, but back then we were teenagers, right? And the white boys were like really goofy and just, you know, jackass type situation. But they told him that pizza was called titties. Oh my gosh. He was like, what's that called? And he was like, oh yeah, that's called titties. So he went to the lunch line and asked the lady, hey, can I have some titties? And the lady was like, what? Like, it's crazy. Like, when you're naive and people like play with your mind or do stupid stuff for their own entertainment, it's like, yeah, you might not find that funny. Like, they got a good laugh off of you, but you got to be embarrassed and humiliated and, you know, wow, so you're going to pick on the African kid. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. You know, it's something like that. So he may have had to really establish those boundaries, but it may have taken a lot of time to do that, because this could be, oh, you're supposed to be my friend. And this is, you know, you might roll with the punches at first, like, oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, that was funny. Ha ha ha. But after so many times, it's like, hey, why do you keep doing this to me? Why do you keep trying to make a joke out of me? Why is it always me? Why don't you pick on anybody else but me? And yeah, he's learning how to cut people off. He's learning how to stick to the rivers and lakes that he's used to. Well, not that he's used to, but the rivers and lakes that flow in the direction that he's flowing in. Okay, if somebody can't respect you enough to not embarrass you and humiliate you, why do you need them? Like, at that point, you're going against the grain. You are fighting to keep somebody in your life who is showing you why they don't deserve to be there. So it's like, yeah, the self-esteem had to really build up. But, you know, after that, like, yeah, he's a pretty solid person. Really nice, really respectful. Very, okay, I'm also hearing this like conflict, right? Because again, there's a lot of emphasis on relationships with other people. And I haven't even gotten into like romantic relationships, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, if a woman think that she can walk all over you, or she can play you or use you, that's what she gonna do. So, and it's like, if he never really had a relationship and didn't really know what a healthy one looks like, then he might say, oh, okay, well, I thought everybody pays all their girlfriends' bills and all this stuff. And it's like, no, bro, we don't do all of that. And he's like, wait, really? You know, but it's like, once he gets it, once he understands, oh, that's what a healthy relationship looks like. It's not just me always giving. You're supposed to give me something in return too. You're supposed to take care of me too. You're supposed to love me. And, you know, it's like, yeah, once he really gets that, it's like, you can't change his mind. Like, it's a crazy thing. He's open-minded, but only if it makes sense. Like, I'm going to try this new thing, but only because I've watched the reviews. I have, you know, read up on it. I've watched the positive and negative, whatever. Like, as long as it makes sense. But once something makes sense to him, another way of doing it may not make sense. He can understand it. He can observe it. He can acknowledge it. He could say, yeah, I know why you did that, but it's not something that he's going to adopt within himself. Like, I'm not going to do that, but I can see why you do it. You know, like people be doing drugs. Okay, I can see why you do drugs. Life is hard. Life is, sometimes our feelings get really intense and you need that release of pressure and all that other stuff. So yeah, I can see why you are on cocaine, but that's not my method of doing things. So yeah, let me see if there's anything else I'm getting from him. I don't know why I'm not really getting much of like future situations. And it's not because, like, it's not that, oh, he's not going to live long enough to have a future. It's just, it just feels like he changes his mind too much. Okay. Like he changes his mind so much that literally whatever he does is just going to be whatever he does. And it may not be forever. Like he may think that he's going to do something forever, but then something happens where it no longer makes sense to keep doing this. So now it's like, I got to do something else. Like everything is about, does it make sense? Because again, he came from a sheltered childhood where he was maybe told to do a lot of things because his parents said so. But now that he's an adult, his parents can't tell him everything. Especially if he's not on the path that his parents were on. Like, okay, he's a famous actor. I don't know if his parents are actors, but if he's an actor and his parents aren't, they can't tell him how to navigate the entertainment industry. He has to learn things on his own. So it's like, yeah, once he makes his decisions and stuff, he's stuck with it until it stops making sense. Like, why would I keep doing this if it's draining me? Or if I can make more money doing that, why would I do this? You know? So yeah, I like it. Okay. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hit that like button. Never forget that you can change your life if you can change your mind. Love you. Bye.